بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. The Quran makes it clear to the reader that the follower of this book, this Quran, is special. They are unique in comparison to all other individuals in this world. And what makes them unique is also clear in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. You are, the Muslims, are the best nation that has come to humanity. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it clear why. تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. Because you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But our simple belief in Allah isn't what makes us special, because most of humanity believes in the Creator. Rather, what makes us special is in our names. Not our individual names, but the name of our religion and what we are called Muslims. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the beginning of Surah Al-Imran, or towards the beginning, when He says, dialogue with the people of the book, come to a common word, a common ideology that we only worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if they reject it, they turn away, then let them know, فَقُولُ اشْهَدُوا بِأَنَّا مُسْلِمُونَ. Tell them that we are Muslims. And the word Muslim comes from the root Islam, and Islam means submission. This is what makes us special. But there's more. Our submission isn't a physical submission. Rather, our submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with our body is simply the manifestation of something greater. Our submission is in the heart. And our submission is completely and entirely to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you find that the Quran engages the heart, and the heart is a vessel of emotions. There are many emotions that are going on in our hearts. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does through the Quran is He dialogues with those emotions. So sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about paradise and the beauties of paradise and the pleasures of paradise. No fear, no worry. You are there forever. It is all pleasures. So it arouses our excitement, our happiness, our enthusiasm. And sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the hellfire and scares us and arouses our fear, our concern, our worry. And sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us think about the future and makes us reflect on the past. All of this is arousing our emotions, because the heart is where submission begins. When we do sujood, when we prostrate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not our bodies that are prostrating first, it's our hearts. Or at least that's what it should be. What makes us special is that we are Muslims, people who submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we do that sincerely. فَقُولُوا فَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُخْلِصُونَ. Towards the end of Surah Al-Baqarah, or the end of the first juz'ah, and tell them that we are sincere to Allah. وَنَحْنُ لَهُ عَابِدُونَ. We worship Allah. وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. We submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with our hearts entirely, and our body is just a manifestation of that. Now the question becomes, how can we embody this? How can we internalize it? We all love the Quran. We all love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we all give our allegiance to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But it's easier said than done. How can we do it? Well, if our heart is the vessel of emotions, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is utilizing those emotions, well, a good start is to understand those emotions and why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala utilizes them. What is so special, so unique about our emotions? What makes it unique? For example, when we talk about shukr, which we spoke about yesterday, gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He tells us, look at all that He has given us. Look at the sun, the moon. Look at the sky and the rain. Look at the mountains and the greenery and the vegetation, the fruits and the vegetables. These are the great blessings. Money comes and goes, but the true blessings are the blessings that are out of our control. Because those blessings, we are dependent upon them. So when we look at these things and we remember, we realize that they are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we know how dependent we are upon them. By being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are telling ourselves we are dependent on Him. And that is submission. Take the concept of raja, hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we make dua in sujood or qunut. In the last 10 nights, especially on Laylatul Qadr, when we make dua asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our needs, our wants, for help, we are doing that out of hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer us. And in that is an embodiment, an experience of need for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we are dependent upon Him. Because when we make dua, we are essentially saying, I am incapable of doing this myself. I need you, subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we look at the concept of fear, al-khawf, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we are accountable for our actions, and therefore we are worried of the consequences of our actions. Did I pass or did I fail? When we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will I be okay? Or did I not do a good job? The worry of accountability is something that is in our hearts, and therefore we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our deeds. We ask Him to forgive us. Why? Because that fear makes us realize that we are in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And take that with every single emotion, the greatest one being love. Love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the head of our worship of Him. It is the head of our submission to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And love is something that we enjoy, we desire it, it makes us feel good. And it is something we don't want to leave our hearts. We always want to feel that love. And that is essentially saying, oh Allah, I need you. I need to love you because that is part of my happiness. This is what it means to be a Muslim. So in Surah Ali Imran, in the verses that were cited before Taraweeh and during Taraweeh, you find that this comes out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this several times. Inna ad-deena 'inda Allah al-Islam. Indeed, religion to Allah is submission to Him. فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَقُولُوا اشْهَدُوا بِأَنَّا مُسْلِمُونَ. If they turn away, let them know, say it proudly, that we are people who submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can we reach this level? How can we get there? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Ali Imran as well, شَهِدَ اللَّهُ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ وَأُولُو الْعِلْمِ قَائِمًا بِالْقِسْطِ. Say, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, Allah bears witness to His oneness, to His worthiness of worship. And so do the angels. And so do the scholars who stand up for justice. And notice the context of the verse. The justice here is a theological justice. Because we are a ummah who call people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that they can live a life that is free from everyone else. That is completely dependent on Allah, independent from the rest of His creation, because the rest of the creation tried to take advantage of one another. And we see this clearly today. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, be those who submit to Him. And part of Ramadan is doing that. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So that you increase your strength, you strengthen, you rediscover, you reanalyze your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in prayer. And prayer is submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we ask Him to make us among those who are Muslimin. Meaning submit to Him alone. To help us embody that, to internalize it, to understand it, because wallahi, it is precious. It is so beautiful for your life to be completely centered around Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who cares about you more than you care about yourself, who's more concerned about you than you are of yourself. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among them, and to make us among those who take advantage of Ramadan. Just one announcement, inshallah, starting Friday and Saturday will be the middle school program. Inshallah, it will be after the khatira. So after this khatira, they will go upstairs like the previous years, and they will have their separate program. Jazakumullah khair, wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.